Hi everyone, Misha the Word Witch. Welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be part 2 of my Keep It or Unhaul It series. I have 11 new books that are up on the chopping block. 4 of them are actually in a series, so I will start off with those. So the first ones up on the chopping block are How to Treat Magical Beasts. They are a manga series. I remember when I first bought it, I really enjoyed it because it kind of gave me like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them vibes. However, as I've gotten older, I've realized I don't really gravitate toward manga anymore. When I was, like a preteen and a teenager, I read a lot of manga partially because my sister had a huge collection, and at one point she was getting rid of them, and I took like a whole bunch of them from her. And then there were, like a few series like Vampire Night and A Midnight Opera and Godchild that I like picked up on my own and read those. But yeah, as I've gotten older, I don't read these as much as I used to. So I'm, going to reread through these, see if I still enjoy them as much as I did when I initially read them, and go from there. Yeah. So then the next book is The Constant Art of Being a Writer. I've had this book for a really long time, and I actually have it on my blog as like one of my like recommended books to read. However, this book is from, let me look for the year really quick. It's from 2009. And I'm sure that I know the writing industry has changed a lot since 2009, so I don't know how much information in here would still be relevant, or if I reread it, would I still feel like this is really helpful to me. So I have like, a few pages that have post-its on them, so it'd be interesting to see what did I find so, important, or like, oh, I definitely like really want to quickly reference this. So yeah, I'm going to reread through this and see if it still holds up for me. The next book is 90 Days to Your Novel. I think originally a while ago, I was going to declutter this. I remember reading through it once, like ages ago, and I was like, I don't know if this really applies to me, because, it talks about like outlining, and I hate outlining. I'm going to be perfectly honest. It's something I've never enjoyed doing. Not for my novels. When I was in school, I could write my papers with no problem, but if the teacher wanted an outline, I struggled with that, just because I'm like, it's all there in the paper. You can see it. So, I mean, this might be good for me, just because, I am currently working on my novel, and I've kind of hit a little bit of a wall with it. And I think it's just because now that I've gone back in to do the edits and the rewrites, that really, I'm not gonna lie, I hate editing. This is terrible. I'm a writer who admits that I hate the editing process. And I need some help with it, so I'm hoping that this will kind of help me through the rough patch. The next book is 13 Reasons Why. I read it in high school. Obviously, when the Netflix show came out, I watched it. I watched all of it. And I don't know, I kind of just, want to reread it. I don't expect to feel the same way about it as I did when I was a teenager, because, life is very different when you're 17, 18 versus when you're in your 30s, which I am. So yeah, I'm gonna reread it and see if it's something I still want to hold on to. The next book is The Moon and You. This book is shiny, so it might not show up that well. Really beautiful book. It's just, again, it's one of those one of those books I have that it's like, do I have this information in another book I own? Is the information in this book better than the one I already have? There was actually a point at where I had 3 books like on this topic or very similar to this topic, and this was the one I ended up keeping. Even though the other 2 were really beautiful, really nice, like I felt like there was so much similar information. So, I haven't read this in a while, so I just want to reread through it. The next book, Clearing Emotional Clutter. If you've seen any of my recent videos, especially the Desti clutter, you will know that I've been dealing with a lot lately. Especially, just like emotionally and mentally. I've been going through it, and I feel like I need a little bit of help to, work through that. So I'm hoping rereading this will give me the help I need. And then the last 2 books, this one is The Crystal Fix. I love crystals. And I haven't read this in so long, and I kind of just want to reread it, just kind of refresh myself on what it's about. I do have some crystals, primarily on a shelf in my bedroom. I have my amethyst. I have like a little kyanite cat. I have a little bottle of like clear quartz. But I kind of just want to read through this because also I do have a lot of books on crystals. So I want to see, is this still, do I still want this to be like my go-to crystal book? Or am I ready to let it go? And because the sad thing is, and what I've noticed with books, on, witchcraft and crystals and things like that, there's a lot of overlapping information. So it's like, do I need, 5 or 10 books on crystals? No, I could probably get away with 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 if there's like one I really like. But, I could definitely call it down. So I'm going to read this one first. And then the last book on here, which is a very beautiful book, also very big, is The Modern Wiccan's Guide to Living. I remember reading it and absolutely loving it the first time. There's a lot of different information in here. It kind of covers, everything. It covers like the tools you need, like kitchen magic, which I'm no witch in the kitchen. I'm mainly in the kitchen to help keep it clean, but you don't want to see me cook. And then there's just like a lot of like recipes in here to also, like for like cleaning supply. There's just a lot in here. Geez, there's even a recipe for cookies. So I definitely want to reread through this and just see, compared to other books I have like this, do I still feel like this book has enough different information, or that this is like the book I want to go to for my information. In my last Keep It Or Unhaul It, I did have quite a few books about Wicca. Most of them were, kind of like self-care type books, but there was one called Wicca Practical Magic, which I read and kept. So it'll be interesting with still having that one pretty fresh in my memory, reading this one and then seeing, do I want to keep both of them, or do I feel like maybe this one might be better than the other? But yeah, so those are the 11 books that are on the chopping block. Last time I felt like I had a pretty good idea of which ones I was going to keep and which ones I was going to declutter. This time, I'm not so sure, because some of these books I haven't read in a really long time, And, you know, I also feel like sometimes it depends on the mood you're in, on what you want to read and what you want to keep. You know, I feel like if you're going through a harder time in your life, you might be more inclined to keep books that reflect that, because, you know, you're looking for guidance, you're looking for help. You know, if you're in a more, you know, like happy place in your life, maybe you won't be so inclined to keep those kind of books because, you know, you're happy, you know, and you don't feel like you need them. So, yeah, it'll just be interesting to see out of these books which ones I keep and which ones I get rid of. So, yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. And if you're doing the same thing, or you're doing something similar, let me know in the comments down below. And once this video, or I should say, once I, you know, read these books and do the second Keep It Or Unhaul update, any books I'm not keeping will always be going on my Pango books. However, I have decided that for anything I put on Pango books, I'm going to keep them on there for maybe a month or two, and if they don't sell or they don't have interest, I will take them off of Pango books, and then I will either take them to a nearby used bookstore and, you know, get some credit for them, you know, and buy more books, or I will donate them to my local library, because they have bookstores in their library that any money they make goes back into the library system, which I think is great. So yeah, that's the plan. I hope you all enjoyed. Have a great day.